This presentation provides an overview of Chapter 6A in the book titled Simple G, a gridded economic approach to analysis of sustainability of the Earth's land and water resources, edited by Iman Hakiki and Thomas Hurdle, and published by Springer. This chapter focuses on providing background on the regional database that is used in Simple G. This slide provides an overview of all chapters in the Simple G book, each of which has an accompanying presentation to motivate the material covered in that chapter. During this presentation, I'll cover a portion of Chapter 6, which is on benchmark data, integrating biophysical and economic information in a consistent geospatial dataset. This chapter follows on from the prior two, which laid out the mathematical representation of the Simple G model, and helps to lay the empirical foundations for the applications in Part 4 of the book. The regional database in Simple G is constructed using three groups of datasets, which include macroeconomic data, data for crop production, trade, and usage, and data for livestock and processed food production. We'll start off by looking at the macroeconomic data. The macroeconomic data used in Simple G includes population and per capita income, the variables of which are the key drivers of food demand in the model. The main source of macroeconomic data is FAOSTAT, which publishes annual data on population and real gross domestic product. Per capita income is calculated by dividing the real gross domestic product with population data from the FAOSTAT database. Let's now move on to look at data on crop production, which includes crop quantities, prices, and values, and is also calculated using data from FAOSTAT. Data for 135 crops are used in the creation of the database. Production quantities and producer prices for each crop are used to calculate the global average price for each crop, and these global prices are then multiplied with production quantities to compute the value of crop production. In most versions of Simple G, crop quantities are expressed in terms of corn equivalent tons. To convert production quantities for each crop to corn equivalent quantities, crop production is multiplied by the ratio of the global average price for an individual crop type and the global corn price. This ratio is the corn equivalent price weight, and is used to take account of the economic value of each crop, relative to the economic value of corn. In Simple G, crop producers can sell their output to the local and global markets. Sales shares to the local and global markets are taken from the GTAP database, version 11 of which covers 160 regions and 65 sectors. In Simple G, crops are consumed directly as food by consumers, animal feed in the livestock sector, raw inputs in the processed food industry, and feedstock for biofuel use. Furthermore, crop commodities can be purchased by consumers in the local and global crop markets. Purchase shares of crops by consumers, as well as the livestock and processed food sectors from the local and global markets, are taken from the GTAP database. Use of local feedstock by the biofuel sector is taken from the GTAP Bio database. Note that local feedstock demand is first deducted from the local crop availability, before allocating the crop to other uses. The values of inputs in the crops sector are calculated from the value of crop output and the input cost shares. Input cost shares are taken from the GTAP database, whereas cropland area is taken from FAOSTAT. For non-land inputs, the quantities are assigned to be equal to the value of the input. Value of production for the livestock and processed food sectors are calculated from the value of crop inputs used in these sectors and the input cost shares. Given total cost of production, input cost shares are used to calculate the value of non-crop inputs used in each sector. Input cost shares are taken from the GTAP database, and the quantity of production is the same as the value of production for these sectors. The values of consumption for crops, livestock, and processed food are equal to the value of production for each sector. The value of non-food commodities is computed as the difference in real GDP and the value of food expenditures, which in this way exhausts all income. For crops, the quantities are measured in corn equivalent tons, and for other commodities, the quantities are equal to the value of consumption. Here, I've listed additional readings and references you might be interested in further exploring. On this slide, you'll find the link to the SimpleG webpage where you can find additional resources, as well as links to the book and other chapter presentations. Lastly, we also gratefully acknowledge support from the U.S. Department of Energy, the Department of Agriculture, and the National Science Foundation. Thank you for watching this presentation on the SimpleG book, Chapter 6a. We encourage you to explore the other companion videos that accompany the book on the SimpleG webpage.